We need to talk about something that people who are pro-terrorist love to do. If they've actually bothered to do enough semi-research, this will be shown by many Jews as the flag of Palestine, British Mandate Palestine. British Mandate Palestine, not the fiction that the Egyptian named Arafat started pushing about Gaza. Okay? There's a big difference between those two. Now, this flag was in this. This was the encyclopedia in 1932 and 1938. Now, this is listed as the flag for Palestine. British Mandate Palestine, because humans just love to shorten shit, and then that leads to confusion later on when bigots want to deny reality. However, you need to understand something very, very specific here. Can't find an image that'll fit on the screen. The Union Jack was the official flag of British Mandate Palestine because they were colonizers. A colonizer does not put the flag or whatever symbol represents the country that they're stealing from over their land, what they now consider to be their land, at least as long as they can hold it. And in the case of the UK, they held it, they promised so much to their Jewish population, and then they reneged, and they gave better than 70% of it to the Arabs. They also helped the Arabs in attacking the Jews. The UN denied Israel, like there was a weapons embargo against Israel, but not against the 5 Arab countries that attacked Israel a day after it was recreated, which were led by British officers. So, the other flag, this one, this is what's called a mandate-specific era image. The UK used this image because British Mandate Palestine was, for the most part, Jewish. So this made sense. And for those of you who want to claim that it was just in the one encyclopedia and it was just pretend, you lie. Faster than a horse can trot. In fact, so, since in 1864, when Britain did a census, Jerusalem was 80% Jewish. This is what you would have seen in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, those sorts of Jewish places, because Jews were the prominent people. And there's all sorts of newspaper articles I could show you indicating that, yeah, Arabs then started emigrating towards Gaza, towards where Israel should be, partially because, well, hey, they didn't accept a Jewish state, and they had already vowed before it was recreated that they wouldn't permit it. So what's been going on for the last 75 plus years is nothing that was unexpected to the Jews. The Arabs were very open. They would not accept us. It doesn't matter to them that this is our ancestral homeland. It doesn't matter that there's a cemetery there that we've been using for 3,000 years. And as soon as they were there, after they lost their war, which Nakba, in case you didn't know, was not created by the Arabs, it was created by a journalist, to describe the fact that the Arabs failed in their attempt to annihilate Israel. That is what the Arabs consider to be the catastrophe, that Israel still exists. It is not the bullshit thing about, oh, so many Palestinians were expelled from their land. Well, yeah, because their Arab leaders told them to go and said they could come back in a few days after Israel was gone. Meanwhile, almost 80 years later, the refugee status of Palestinians, there are more of them now than there ever were, because they can pass that status down. In fact, you know, you can't even get off the list if you're considered to be a Palestinian refugee, even if you go and resettle someplace else. The millions of people that have resettled elsewhere are still considered refugees by the UN, even though that goes against their own rules. But then, frankly, practically everything they do when it comes to Israel goes against their own rules. Like taking bribes so you can get a arrest warrant out for a leader that didn't commit any war crimes. So, after denying pretty much everything that happened on October 7th, the UN has completed its investigation of itself. And yeah, there are 6 or 7 people that they claim were involved with the terrorists. Except they've got members that take bribes. Except 70% of the UN the members are from authoritarian countries. Most of them run by Islam. So do you want to guess? I'll give you 3 guesses, 2 don't count. What country gets the most shit from the UN now that it's over 70% authoritarian Islam influenced countries? Oh, and for those of you who want to claim I'm lying, prosecutor, Qatari agent accepted bribe to issue warrant against Netanyahu. And this is what happens when you allow what's supposed to be a neutral agency to be infiltrated by non-neutral people. North Korea, 10. Wow, Syria. Iran, 10. Iran, who is killing its own people so they, if they dare voice an opinion. Nothing against Algeria. Nothing against China. I'm sorry, are there not a whole bunch of Muslims being kept in prison in China for nothing more than being Muslims? I would have thought that the UN wouldn't be happy with that. Nothing against a terrorist organization. Tell me again how the UN is unbiased against Israel. Lie to me again. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.